Hi everyone, welcome back. It's great to have you here today. Today we'll be revising transformations. Please get your pen and paper ready and make some notes. So there are 4 different types of transformations. The first one is reflection. So when we are describing reflection, we say reflect in the line, and then we will write down the equation of the line. The second one is translation. So when we are describing it, we say translation by the vector, and then we write down the vector. When we are describing rotation, we say rotation certain degrees, clockwise or anti-clockwise, about the center, and then we write down the coordinates of the center. And finally, enlargement. So when we are describing enlargement, we say enlargement by a scale factor of and about the center, and then again we write down the coordinates of the center. Now in enlargement, depending on the scale factor, we will have a different effect. So for example, if the scale factor is anything bigger than 1, then we will have a larger shape. If it's between 0 and 1, then we will have a smaller shape. However, if the scale factor is 1, then that means this shape is unchanged. Similarly, if it's anything smaller than -1, then we will have a larger shape. If it's anything between 0 and -1, we will have a smaller shape. And then if it's -1, the size of the shape will be unchanged. Okay, so now what is the difference between the positive scale factor and the negative scale factor? If a scale factor is positive, so then that means this shape will be in the same direction. However, if the scale factor is negative, then that means this shape will be in the opposite direction. It will be flipped. Okay, so now you know how to describe the transformation if the shape is given to you. When they are giving you the instruction, you need to know how to draw it. What I'm going to do now is to show you a PowerPoint. In this PowerPoint, we are going to go through all 4 different types of transformations. Okay, so the first one is reflection. In this question, they want us to reflect shape A in the line x equals 3. So what we need to do is to draw ourselves the line x equal to 3. And now you need to find the perpendicular distance between any point to the line. Now 2 things are very important. One is picking a point. It's easy to use one of the vertices. And then the second thing is you need to make sure it's a perpendicular distance. So in this case, it's easier. If we pick the point 4, 1, then we know the distance between this point to x equal to 3 is 1 horizontally. So then that means our new point is going to be 2, 1. Similarly, next point, if we pick 7, 1, and then the distance between 7, 1 and the line x equal to 3 is 4. So then that means our new point is going to be -1, 1. And if we repeat the same process, we'll be able to find the image of the object A, and we say it's A dash. Okay, now moving on to the next one, what we wanted to do this time is to reflect this triangle in the line y equals x. Let's look at the first point, -1, -5. So the perpendicular distance between this point and then the line y equal to x is 2 to the left, 2 up. So then that means I need to do the same with the corresponding points, the new point. That means I need to go across by 2 to the left and then up by 2. So then this is my new point. Now please make sure that this line is perpendicular to the line y equal to x. Similarly, 4, -4 will go to -4, 4. And the point 4, 4 is landing on the line y equal to x. Therefore, this point is an invariant point. That means this point hasn't moved. So now by joining these 3 points together, we will have the image D dash. Okay, now moving on to the next one is translation. So what we wanted to do is to translate this triangle by the vector 4, 3. If the numbers are positive, that means it's going to the right or going up, depending on whether it's x or y. So 4, 3, that means 4 across to the right, 3 up. So now we have found our new shape. Now moving on to the next one. In this question, what we wanted to do is to translate this shape by the vector -3, -4. Now x is -3. That means we needed to translate the shape to the left by 3 units and then down by 4 units. So now what we need to look at is rotation. So now in this question, we wanted to rotate the shape C 90 degrees anti-clockwise about the center -5 and 3. Now what I needed to do is to label the center first. So what I'm going to do first is to join this center with any one of the vertices. Now I'm going to pick -7, -1 first. So when I join them by a straight line, what I needed to do is to rotate this line 90 degrees anti-clockwise. And now I just need to repeat the same process with other points. If it's -7, rotate 90 degrees anti-clockwise, it will land on 5, 1. And I can join the points together, and as we can see, this is our image C dash. Okay, now moving on to the next part, enlargement. So there are different cases. We are going to look at each one of them. So let's first look at a positive number that is greater than 1. So in this question, what we want to do is to enlarge this triangle by a scale factor of 3 about the center of enlargement 11, 3. Okay, so what I needed to do is to label the center first. Start from our center of enlargement, go to one of the vertices. For example, I'm going to pick 11, 4. So if I wanted to go from the center to that point, I need to go up by 1 unit. Now scale factor is 3, so that means I need to go up by 3 units to get to my new point. Now remember, we always start from the center of enlargement. So go back to the center of enlargement, we go up by 3 units, and 11, 6 is our new point. Okay, let's see another point. Now if I wanted to go to 8, 4, what I needed to do is to go to the left by 3 units and then up by 1. Because our scale factor is 3, so then starting from the center of enlargement, what I needed to do is to go to the left by 9 units and then up by 3 units. Now 2, 6 is the corresponding point. We will be able to find the image of A, which is B, the larger shape. Okay, after we have done the drawing, we needed to check, see if we got the correct answer. There are 2 different ways of doing this. Method number 1, we can look at the sides of the triangle B and see if that's 3 times of triangle A, because the scale factor is 3, so each side should be 3 times bigger than the original shape. The second method is by joining the corresponding points together and extend them, see if they intersect at the center of enlargement. What if our scale factor is something between 0 and 1? In this case, we want to enlarge the shape by a scale factor of a half about the center 10, 2. Step 1, we should always label the center of enlargement. If we want to go from the center to the first point, which is 6, 6 in this case, that means we need to go up 4 units and then to the left by 4 units. Because our scale factor is a half, so that means we need to go up by 2 units, to the left by 2 units, and this is our new point. By repeating the same process, halving our journey, we will get our new shape. Now let's check, see if the side of the image is half of the original shape. And then if we join the corresponding points together, see if they intersect at the center of enlargement. Okay, now moving on to a negative scale factor. Negative in vector means in the opposite direction. So let's have a look at this question. We want to enlarge shape A by a scale factor of -2 about the center 5, 8. Let's pick a point. Let's say 4, 9. To go from my center to this point, I need to go up by 1 to the left by 1. Now remember, because the scale factor is -2, so that means I need to double the journey, but in the opposite direction. I have to go down by 2 units and then to the right by 2 units. Similarly, if we want to go to the next point, 2, 9, I need to go up by 1, to the left by 3. So then scale factor of -2 means opposite direction, go down by 2, to the right by 6 units. And then by repeating this same process to the final point, we will be able to find the image of the object A. And as we can see, the image, the triangle B, is 2 times bigger than the original one because the scale factor is 2. But because it's -2, that means the shape is being flipped. It's in the opposite direction. If we join the corresponding points together, we can see that they pass through the center of enlargement. Okay, let's have a look at one more example. What if we wanted to enlarge a shape by a scale factor of -1/2 by the center of enlargement 7, 5? Okay, to go from the center of enlargement to the first point, 5, 5, I needed to go to the left by 2 units. Now, since it's a negative scale factor, that means I need to go to the opposite direction. And the scale factor is a half, so I have to halve my journey. So I have to go to the right by 1 unit. By repeating the same process, we can find out that the image, triangle B, is a half size of the original object, triangle A. And if we join the corresponding points together, we can see that they pass through the center of enlargement. So that is it for today. Well done for making through to the end. Remember, maths isn't a spectator sport, and you have to keep practicing to be better at it. Happy revising, and I'll see you in the next video.